This is an extract from the Leader podcast by the Evening Standard, hosted by me, David Marsland. To hear the whole thing, search for us on your podcast provider. When two ministers break ranks and criticise the government's handling of something, you know things have gone badly wrong. Paymaster General Penny Mordaunt and the Ministry of Defence's Johnny Mercer both wrote about their concerns over A-level and GCSE results on social media. It followed a swell of Tory backbenchers demanding a U-turn on how the exams were assessed, but our editorial column says a lot of damage has already been done.
It's a hideous mess, and although there was never going to be a perfect solution, the government urgently needs to get a grip. The aim should be to at least ensure that the overall balance of this year's grades matches those of previous years. But even if adjusting results ends up with more favourable grading than in the past, being kind to students in these difficult times seems a lesser problem than inflicting further damage on their lives. If universities find themselves swamped with too many qualified applicants as a result, then the cap on admissions should be lifted too. This country will eventually rely on today's young students, and their futures must be protected.
Our political editor Joe Murphy is with me now. And Joe, given all the anger from a large section of the public and the criticism from within his own party, can the Education Secretary Gavin Williamson's job survive this?
Within the last couple of hours, David, Number 10 has said that Gavin Williamson has the full confidence of the Prime Minister, and I think that indicates that he will not be sacked today at least. But long term, it has to be said that the education sector's future looks extremely bleak, and if you talk to Conservative MPs, as I've been doing this morning, they're really unimpressed by the way this has been handled. And I think that if he stays in post in the next reshuffle, there would be something of a rebellion. And I think that this has gone so badly so far that it's probably accelerated the timing of the next reshuffle as well.
We know that there are changes on the way about how exams are going, the exam results are going to be handled. And yet, Northern Ireland came out pretty quickly to say that they were going to move things. We already knew what was happening in Scotland. Why has it taken so long for things to change in England?
That's an extremely good question, David. And the only answer we were getting from Number 10 today when we asked that question, and, wasn't it true that they'd been warned by some academics that these consequences, that poorer children would be losing out in disadvantaged areas, that they'd been warned of that. And we get the same answer, which is, well, we're working hard to ensure the fairest possible system. If you look at those words and read between the lines, implicit in that is an admission that we don't currently have a fair enough system. And you may well ask, well, shouldn't action have been taken before the exam results came out rather than after the exam results to ensure the system was, as the Prime Minister promised it would be, robust?
Now, regardless of the changes that do come in, there are still going to be people who have sat their A-levels who may not get those university places, aren't there? There's going to be a lot of anger, probably for quite some time, among a lot of young people. The
anger is intense, obviously, at the moment, as we've seen in the demonstrations in London at the weekend. That's why I suspect the government is strongly tempted to carry out the big U-turn, accepting teacher assessments of people's grades. This is something that a minority of MPs, Tory MPs that is, are currently calling for overtly, but the majority are saying that if a robust appeal system can't be done within a matter of hours or a day or two at most, then teacher assessments has to be the way forward by default. And I think the MPs who are calling for that know that there is no appeal system that can be instantly made to work. And therefore, by calling for this two-pronged thing, they're really putting the emphasis on the latter and letting the government see the writing on the wall.